playing some of this music right here. Just, I'm glad you were able to come on. How you doing?
I'm very good.
Nice to finally meet you.
Same here.
Wow. Okay.
Same here. Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, it's just just very excited about this. That's all. I was just kind of like looking at stuff, and I was like, wow, this is amazing to me. So thank you very much.
And Richard says he can hear both of us.
Rich. Okay, no problem. Oh, that's Wiggy Life. I said, what's
Yeah.
up with him? How you doing? What's up, Wiggy? All right. I know you don't have that much time, so we're gonna.
That's fine. We have an hour, so it's all good.
Okay. First of all, let's introduce yourself. I already introduced you as Angela White, but you can you can do your own introduction.
Yeah, no, my name is Angela White. I'm a film producer out of Los Angeles, California. And my brand name is Miss Angela White everywhere. So anywhere on social media, my website, Miss Angela White. But I'm just Angela out of Los Angeles, California, from way of New Jersey. I'm originally from New Jersey, but relocated to California over 20 years ago.
All right. Okay. All right. I just want to. I guess I'm going to start with the first question. What inspired you? I know we were talking before. I think you mentioned that you went to college, but what made you become a filmmaker? How did that come about?
Yeah, so my initial training is law.
Hmm.
I'm an attorney.
Right.
I went to law school, graduated law school, and in the 90s.
Right. Right.
And I became a talent manager. And then once I became a talent manager, that's when I relocated to Los Angeles, California, and I was introduced to the world of producing. So I didn't go to film school.
Okay.
This was something that was a natural trajectory from being a lawyer and a talent manager. The most natural career after that is producing. And that's because a producer puts together things, right? And
Yes.
so you have your hands in everything.
Right.
So I kind of fell into it, and
Mhm.
then I got bit by the bug and stayed with it.
Okay. Okay. Because I was wondering how did that marriage come about, and I know that last time I think you said with Sim Williams you did a movie with I did a movie with her first movie or something like that.
Yeah, in 2001, she did a
Yeah.
movie called Violation that
Oh
we
wow.
shot in New York City
Uh-huh.
over 24 years ago, and that was one of my first producing credits. I was a co-producer on the movie.
Okay. Now, okay, so you went to law school, and then you caught the bug and you got into movies. Now, how I know a lot of that's everyone's dream, right? You know, to get into the movie business back then, but what was it that I know you got into it, but what exactly made you lure you to that? What was it that lured you to that? Because it was something that that you was in love with back then.
No, nothing really lured me to it. It was just a natural trajectory. So what happens in the film and TV industry?
Hmm.
There are ceilings
Hmm.
within your industry, so you only can go but so far.
Right.
So naturally, we go up a ladder.
Okay.
And so if you're a lawyer and you're representing all the artists,
Okay.
you might look to see what the artists are making financially and realize you might not be making nearly as much as the artist. So then you start thinking, okay, well, what else can I do? And
Okay.
then that's why there's a reason why most agents and managers are lawyers
Right.
first.
Hmm.
So then you're like, oh, well, maybe I should be representing the people because I can make more money. A lot of people don't know. Let me backtrack. So as a lawyer, you're capped at how much you can charge your client,
Okay.
which is 5%.
Okay.
So a talent manager is not capped. A talent manager can charge as much as 20%. A licensed theatrical agent can charge only 10%. So there's caps. So naturally, people start wanting to go into other industries because they're being financially capped.
Okay.
And so once you start getting in other industries, you start realizing also where the power is.
Right. Right.
And so you start realizing that, wait a minute, you're working for all these people, but you're doing all the deals. So
Right.
then you start wanting to find out, well, how can I be one of these people?
Okay.
And that's what happened with me. And then when I got into it, I was like, oh, this is really different. You're working with different people. You're still using all your skill sets,
Right.
but in a different way. And it took time. So let me be honest with you. When I first got into producing,
Hmm.
I didn't do full time. I was still a talent manager for 5 years.
Okay.
So it still was a time frame to become
Mhm.
full time.
Right.
I still was representing talent as a lawyer, and I was still also a talent manager.
Right.
To be a full time producer, you're really just producing the movie for a living. So it
Right.
still took a long time to really hang those other hats. And
Okay.
I still don't hang the hats. I still will represent people. I'm still a barred attorney. I
Right.
still can represent people on a need to basis
Right.
to this day.
Okay. Now, um, so I guess you taught yourself how to produce, right? Okay.
Well, I have mentors. I never taught
Mhm.
myself. So you have to
Okay.
have mentors. Mentors is key. You can't
Okay.
teach yourself. Filmmaking is a team sport.
It's a team sport, right?
You go into a set and you don't even know how they talk. They talk
Okay.
through code.
Right. Right.
So somebody has to guide you. I didn't go to film school, but I was blessed to have mentors, and you must have mentors in this business.
Okay. Okay. So now with now you're producing movies. Now, how did the company come about? How did Silver Lining Entertainment, how did that come about? Because
That was there way before producing. So Silver Lining Entertainment used for legal
Mhm.
representation and for talent management.
Oh,
So
okay.
Silver Lining Entertainment was in place over 5 years before I ever started producing. That's my company. So you
Hmm.
have to have a company if you're in business. So remember, I was in business representing clients way before I ever was a producer, and I had a talent management firm.
Okay.
That's all Silver Lining Entertainment.
So that's cool. I was blown away when I was looking at your background. I was like, wow, I'm trying to put it all together.
No worries. I've done a little bit of everything. I'm a
Mm.
hustler.
I hear you.
So
I hear you. Um, now, okay, so now we're getting into the stories now, right? Now, how do you so you do casting as well? You do
no,
you're involved in the casting.
yeah, I'm not a casting director.
Okay. So you're so much involved and you have to hire someone. Okay. Because I'm looking at some of the movies because I think when I saw the company, like when you sent me the information, right? And I saw the website, I was like, hold up, I've seen this before. I've seen Silver Linings Entertainment before. And it was a couple of movies that I've already seen a couple of
Oh,
years ago.
good, good,
And I was like,
good.
oh, okay, so you're behind this. That's pretty good. And Isaiah Washington, that one, I love that movie. I saw that one a couple of years ago. That was a
Well,
really good movie.
the sincere.
Yeah, yeah, I love that movie. And it's funny about him. I ran into him one time in New York City. I was going to the Soul Cafe on 42nd Street,
I know it very well. It used to
and
be
then
on
I was
Malik Yoba.
walking down the street, and this guy asked me, "Excuse me, you know what a Soul Cafe is?" So I'm like, I look up, it's him. I said, "Oh snap!" So I was there watching this right there in the next block. So I thought that was kind of cool. So all right, so now movie producer, right? How do you pretty much choose navigate the stories like that you're going to write about? Like what's that process like?
Yeah, so sometimes I'm hired as a hired gun. I have no say in the storytelling.
Okay.
If my company produces it, then we look for scripts, right? We look for things that are meaningful to us, that speak to us.
Right.
And if it speaks to us, then we'll take it on, produce it. We'll get
Okay.
the financing for it, raise the financing for it, and look for the distribution. So it depends on what capacity I'm being brought onto the project, or if my company is the one creating the project, looking for the project, and doing all the work for it. It just depends on what capacity.
Okay. And now the first movie I know you did with Sinbad. What was the first movie you did for television? What's the first movie you did for television?
You mean like first TV show I
Yeah,
produced?
the first TV show.
Okay, so I created my own TV show, which is airing on Tubi right now. Richard, if you could put it in the chat, that'll be great. Called the
Hmm.
Comedy Underground Series. I created this
Okay.
show in 2012. We've done three
Hold on, let me
seasons.
see. I think I have it right here.
Yeah, and so that's the very first TV show that my company actually produced, Silver
Okay.
Lining Entertainment.
Okay.
And that's right now airing on Tubi. It was originally on the Urban Movie Channel, which was converted and now owned by All Black. And
Mhm.
then once I got my rights back, now we have put it out there on multiple platforms. But our main platform right now is Tubi. So if you guys want to see a funny comedy show hosted by Tony Rock, Red Grant, and Flex Alexander with some of your favorite comedians, you can go to Tubi.
It's funny how we cross paths. Not we cross paths, but see Capone.
Yes, Capone's on my first season.
It was funny. We used to do ski trips back
Are
in.
you from New York?
Huh?
Are you from New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do all the rooms in New York. My first client was Sylvia's out of law school. I
Really?
used to do a room. All those comedians worked for me. Drew
Oh my God.
Frazier,
Your
Freddie
face, yeah,
Rich, Bob
yeah.
Stapleton. That's why they all did my first thing.
Oh, that's so cool. Because that's like, because he did, we did a ski trip. We used to want to do
Yeah,
ski
they
trip,
used
me
to
and
do
my
all the
partner.
ski trips back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, that
Hmm.
was, we had him because we went up there and it was, we used to bring the bands up there. We used to bring the musicians. It was fun. It was so much fun back in those days. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I know that world well. Like Richard, who's on here, his brother's TK Kirkland, so he used to run it with me. A lot of the
Good.
clubs and stuff. Like comedy was our bread and butter in the 90s.
That's,
Way before I knew of my trajectory was going to take me to LA and start producing movies. So I did the Comedy Underground series as a love letter to how I got into the industry. I never would have been here if it wasn't for comedy. So
right,
I created my own comedy series as
right.
a love letter to how I got started in the business.
That's kind of cool. Wow, that's amazing. So, and that's currently airing, right?
That's airing right now on Tubi. We just premiered on Tubi March 1st.
Oh, okay.
So
So
please go support it, guys.
now I got to congratulate you, right? Because it's nice to see someone, take the art, right? From like I guess the way we used to do it, we do clubs and but you take it to TV. That's awesome. So I want to congratulate you for that. How was that process like? How was that process looking for going for Tubi or going for the different channels and getting the material on there?
Well, so the first episode of Comedy Underground series, we self-produced.
Okay.
Basically, that means I went and raised the money, and we produced it on our own. And
Okay.
then from there, we took it to license it to a network, which at the time was called the Urban Movie Channel. Bob Johnson just sold
Okay.
BET. I
Okay.
already had a multi-picture deal at BET
Okay.
doing films. So
Mhm.
when Bob went over to Urban Movie Channel, I was like, oh, we got to get my show over there. And then we became the first TV show on the Urban Movie Channel, which is now called All Black.
Okay.
And so that's what that happened. So if you believe in yourself,
Mhm.
you can put your own content out and then you go and sell it to the distributor, the network and studio. And if it's good, they'll pick it up. We did a 4-year deal. When the deal was over, they financed the other 2 seasons and you get it back as the right holder. And now we're able to put it everywhere we want.
Wow. I mean, that's intimidating to some people, right?
Mm.
I mean, it's because, like I said, it's, when you put on a show, right? You want to book a club, right? Usually that's the way
Right.
you do it. You book a club, get some, get a comedian, a DJ. All right, that's pretty much the extent of it, right? But I know with social media, that's one thing. But to do what you're doing, right? To, you know, I guess that's intimidating to some people. Some people don't know how to do that. So I'm glad you were able to share that because I see a lot of movies on Tubi right now, and I really appreciate what Tubi's doing right now because it's kind of like I said, kind of reminds me of the days of when hip hop first started, right?
Mm.
And there were so many poets and rappers and MCs and groups, but they didn't know how to harness it, right? So because of that, you know, big business came in, right? We used to go to the club, the parks. That was fun back in those days. Go to parks to see MCs and rappers. It was fun, right? But no one knew that it would blossom into a multi-billion-dollar business, right?
Right.
No, how do how do you harness that? So what you're doing right now, I really appreciate because at least it's like a roadmap, right, to show others how to go about doing that.
Hmm.
And as long as I'm here, I definitely go support you guys.
Oh, thank you.
That is it's awesome what you're doing. And
Thank you.
let's talk now. I know you have a few movies here, right? You have, I know we said Sincere, right? Sincere. You have, this one here. This is my favorite five. You have a few movies here. I didn't want to go over all of them, but I just want to acknowledge it
Sure,
for
absolutely.
people.
These are movies I did back in the day with BET.
Yeah. I saw this one too. So this
The
is
last
this is
one I
awesome.
starred with Amari Hardwick and Sharon
Yeah.
Leal.
Yeah.
That was Amari's last film that he starred in before he did Power. We knew about Power, but nobody knew about Power. He was
Yeah.
getting ready. After he wrapped our film, he went to go shoot Power, but nobody knew of Power. We didn't know Power was going to be the Power of today.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah,
we're so proud of Amari.
it's interesting that how you're all intermingle with, because it's a wonderful thing to see because the arts is phenomenal and like I said, I like what you guys are doing, when you're taking it and you're going, okay, it's Tubi is something like what I like about Tubi is that it gives a lot of creators an opportunity, right?
Yes.
And it's up to you what you do with it, right? It's how quality, how your quality film, it's going to go as far as pretty much what you put into it, right?
Hmm.
So, but you do have the opportunity, right? You do have the opportunity for the film. So some of them, some movies on Tubi I see is kind of like I would kind of do the production a little bit, you know what I mean, better.
Hmm.
But most of them, what I see is like pretty much like yours. That's why I gravitate to it. My wife was like, "Oh, you're watching? What are you watching now?" Because there's so much to choose from, and I love it. It's like it's like one of the best things to me that happens. Some people may feel different, but I love the channel.
Well, you're bringing up a valid point, and the main thing that's good about Tubi is it's free. Let's keep it
Right,
real, right? In this economy, people don't have time to have $20 memberships at 6 places, and
right,
then you have a cable bill.
right.
So, what the great thing that Tubi provides, it provides good free content. It's something for everybody. We got studio level films on Tubi.
Yeah,
Okay, let's keep it real. Tyler Perry's films are on Tubi.
right.
Okay, films that just come out in theaters end up on Tubi.
Yeah,
So Tubi now is owned by Fox.
right,
So it's going to grow, it's going to change. And what it's done for African American filmmakers, it has opened up doors of independence because
right,
now they can self-distribute their films and put it on Tubi. And so the support from people has allowed Tubi to really feed a lot of homes
right,
without having to be ripped off in the traditional way that a lot of people have been ripped off by going with traditional distributors.
right, right.
So it's been a great situation.
I'm just waiting for, hopefully one day Tubi would have an award show, right? And they would have they need an award show because it's some very good material on it. I mean, I'm kind of like retired, so
Okay.
sometimes when I sit down and I like the arts. I
Okay.
love the arts, whether it's music, whether it's acting, performance, because I love to see the actors. I love to see if people up and coming. I just love to see them do that. Like you said yourself, like the directors and film producers. So I'm glad I met you. It was nice, talking to you and promoting your stuff. So I really, really enjoy it. So this movie here. Now I know you have those movies, but which one do you want to talk about first, Darwin or Nine? Which one do you want to
So
talk about?
we can go backwards. We can talk with Darwin. Darwin just came out 2 weeks ago. It's a movie we did. It's an original movie for all black.
Yeah,
And it stars Danielle LaRoche and King Karan, and it was a great, fun thriller. The director, writer, and producer are brothers, Aaron and Ali Abdin, out of Texas and New Orleans. And so we had a lot of fun shooting this last summer.
when you saw the script, what was it like when you saw the script? When
The
you
script
had,
is, so I don't want to give anything completely away because there's definitely twists in it, but
yeah,
basically it's about the predator becomes the prey, right? And so I love the twists and turns of, I can at least tell you the synopsis of it. You have a group of young people who rob people.
right,
They rob people. They use the female, which is Danielle LaRoche's character, to set rich men up.
right,
And what happens when you set up the wrong person?
right,
You are the predator and now you become the prey. And so this is a great twist
right,
of seeing people basically learn a lesson in a very deathly way
right.
that you can't F with everybody.
Yeah.
You set up the wrong person and you have no life. And so I don't want to give it, I don't know if you've seen it, but I don't
I
want to
see
give
it.
it away.
Yes.
Yes. And
the
there's
ending,
twists.
the ending
Yes.
was like I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, like basically, you're never going to want to rob somebody again because you don't know who you're trying to rob.
It
So
was
while you're preying on people, there could be somebody preying
right.
on you.
That was an excellent twist, though. That ending was excellent. So, like you said, you don't want to give it away, but I encourage anyone here to go see the movie.
It's
And
called Darwin.
so down.
It's not what you think it is, and it's a fun film, and there's a lot of lessons in it. And the main lesson to me is basically there's always a bigger and badder predator than you.
Now, the actors and actresses, they were very good in this film. They did a good job with the delivery of the characters.
Yep,
I thought it was
absolutely.
very good. I mean, now, are they pretty much experienced actors and actresses, or pretty much with
Yeah,
some new?
Danielle LaRoche stars on Zatima. That's a Tyler Perry show. This is my
Okay.
second project with her.
Okay.
We did a TV show together 2 years ago, and now she stars in Zatima, which is a big Tyler Perry TV show.
Right.
She has over 30 film credits. King Karong
Right.
used to be like the king of doing skits and sketches.
Okay.
That's how he became super famous online, doing all these skits. He's now getting into dramatic acting. Martin Bradford, who's on the poster, he's been
Right.
acting in all types of films.
That's
So yeah, they're very experienced.
and now when you would, I mean, this can apply to both films, but I'm going to talk about the other one in a second. But
Mhm.
any like when you're doing this, how do you handle like yeah, I mean, I guess it's not it's an easy question for you, but when you're putting this stuff together and you're it's time to go, conflicts or any, not conflicts, but any what's the word I'm looking for, like any challenges when doing this film? Is there anything like that you learned from with any challenges or anything like that?
Yeah, there's always a challenge in every single film. There's never a film that's never a challenge. That's the beauty of filmmaking.
Hmm.
As a producer, our job is to take out the fires. If there's no challenges and there's no fires, you don't need a producer.
Right.
So that's our job. There's always challenges. There's always, and the main challenges is budget and time.
Right.
So your budget will always be a challenge, and time. You don't have enough time.
Right.
And that's the same consistent challenge on every single production,
Right.
whether it's film or TV.
I love it. I love it. I saw that one twice. So this one, I saw this one twice already.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah, I recommend. I told her. That's why I said this. I wanted to send it out because when I see a good movie, it's like, wow, this is really interesting. I really like this movie. It was going to ask you. Oh, let's go to the next one. This is 9. This is the first. This is the first one I saw. So I was like, this one here was. Now tell me about this one. I know this was in Ghana. Did you shoot this?
In Ghana.
In Ghana.
West Africa. Ghana, West Africa. This is a totally different film than Darwin, even though it's a thriller. This is a sci-fi, supernatural fantasy film.
Right.
So this follows a detective, a Los Angeles detective,
Right.
who is on the hunt of a killer, a serial killer, that takes him to Ghana, West Africa.
Hmm.
And unbeknownst to him, he gets involved in a supernatural underworld, witchcraft, voodoo type situation
Hmm.
where it's beyond his capability of solving. So he teams up, unbeknownst to him, with 9 assassins who hunt and kill supernatural beings.
Okay.
Unbeknownst to him, he
Yeah.
thinks he's teaming up with his partner, a forensic scientist, who moonlights at night as an assassin. So this was totally different. This is supernatural fantasy, tons of special effects. If you're into special effects,
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah.
this was a big undertaking for me career-wise to do. We had a huge crew from multiple countries. Our lead was from South Africa. Our other lead was Nigerian. Of course, the director, and he was the lead, was Ghanaian. Then we also brought in 2 Americans. It was a Pan-African cast. We had over 120 crew members from all over. So this was a really big undertaking for me, and it was great. They all did their own stunts. If you're into stunts and fantasy world where people have powers, you'll like this.
Yeah, I thought it was very good, especially the effects. I was like, wow, the effects kind of like what kind of blew me away. I was like, wow, okay. So yeah, 'cause that's why I said let me reach out. Let me talk to you. This is because I was watching. I was like sort of like yeah,
Different.
Yeah, it was a different.
Not typical.
Not
Right?
no. Hmm.
For a black film.
It's really good. It's really good.
Thank
And
you. Different.
so
We knew it was different.
yeah, and it's on I believe it's on
Amazon Prime and Apple TV.
Apple TV.
We
Yes.
are coming to Tubi in the next month, so we are going to be on other platforms.
You said you're gonna put it on Tubi?
We are. We're coming to Tubi.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
Gotta
going
be on
to be on multiple platforms. We just started. We came out in theaters in November. We were in theaters for 6 weeks in Ghana, Africa.
Right.
Then we just launched on February 4th, Amazon Prime and Apple TV. We're in 45 countries.
Okay.
And we are going to be on Tubi, YouTube, Roku, Pluto, all of them, In Demand, Fandango Home. We're going to be on all of them. So we will get Tubi audience will get to see it. I think we'll do well on Tubi. What you think? You say you watch Tubi all the
Let
time.
me tell you. I mean, my friends can't. My friends, my family, everyone gets tired of me talking about Tubi.
Okay.
Because they were like, "Yo, is that all you watch?" Yeah, because I said yes. Because what I like about, like you said, I see a lot of creators doing their thing, that we would not probably a lot of us wouldn't have seen a lot. These movies probably wouldn't have been made if it wasn't for that, right? Let's
Mhm.
call it what it is. But and what I'm going to embrace it, right? So I see, the creativity and the filmmakers, and like I said, like your work. So when I see that, I'm like, wow, it's a good movie, and it's nothing like coming home and okay, what's up next? Okay, my nine is on. Okay, let me get my dinner and and sit back and just watch the film and
Because
then
it's not, what do
share.
you think? There's not a lot of films on Tubi that are like Nine, so I'm hoping we do really well because it'll be different.
No,
Just
this
take a
was different.
break
This
from
is
the
why I
different.
saw it. I was when I saw the poster, right? When I saw the ad, I thought it was like, what is this? The lady standing up like this, and
Lord.
yeah, with a sword, and I'm like, what is this? So I clicked on I always watch the trailer. I click on the trailer, and once I click on the trailer, I'm like, all right, this is interesting. Let me take a look at this. This is really good. You did this is an excellent job. I saw this this is something I would always refer to. I always tell people, and I try to share it to my friends. I always, I'm a social media person, right? So I'm always passing stuff through there. So this is a very good movie.
Well, we're excited when we eventually end up on Tubi. I think we'll find a whole new audience, an
It is.
American audience,
It
and I
is.
hope it does very well.
It is. It is. It's going to do well because it's different.
It's different, right? Because I don't think we have that type of movie, at least a black movie on
Yeah,
Tubi like that.
especially in Africa, right? So Africa's a very good, especially Ghana. I know an artist that she's from like Nigeria, but what when they play the music, Africa is so large, right? It's so many countries there, and once this takes, I know it's gonna do well. It should, it's just a good movie, and you know, I don't know if you did any interviews out there, any podcasts or anything with anyone,
In
but
Ghana? Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So they know, so they know.
yeah. Tubi is not in Africa.
Oh, it's not in Africa.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I thought it was in. I thought it. No, I thought it was global. I thought it was.
No, no.
No,
Tubi's
no.
only in 13 countries.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. All right. But
Tubi will be targeting our African American audience for
yeah,
Tubi. Hmm.
that's definitely. But
Yeah,
yeah, well, I'm glad. I'm glad for you in terms of doing that. I'm glad.
our
Um,
African audience can see it on Amazon Prime. We're
yeah,
in almost
yeah.
20
But they'll
states.
definitely see it on some platform. I know they have. They got to see
Amazon
it.
Prime is their main that they have that and Netflix.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. I know since you first started, right, doing film, other than Roku television channels, how has the industry changed, sort of like in terms of you making films? How is it? Is there any challenges in terms of like? I know you had, for instance, like I know when you do your movies, right? You have to go into different markets, right? Like you said, Africa doesn't have Tubi, but you do. Are you involved? Do you have a person that does that, for you in terms of looking for networks in order to put your film on? How does that
Yeah,
process
so
work?
sometimes we'll use a sales agent
Okay.
and they'll pitch the film to
Hmm.
different platforms and different territories
Hmm.
to help get the film out there. So
That's cool.
absolutely we use sales agents.
That's cool. So, what advice right now in terms of would you give up and coming filmmakers in terms of starting out in the industry, whether it be well, I know actresses, that sort of speaks for itself, but people, who don't have a lot of equipment, right?
Hmm.
Some people just they don't have big cameras and stuff like that, or the means to, you know what I mean, to to give to put in a good budget for a film. But what advice would you give them? Who's going to be watching your? They're going to be watching your film and stuff like that. What do you have to say to them?
Yeah, so somebody who's just starting out, I always say get a mentor,
Hmm.
partner up with a producer who does have all the resources you don't have,
Mm.
and it will save you money and time. If you don't know what you're doing, why waste your
Right.
money and time trying to figure it out? Partner with people who do know what they're doing, and honestly, it's the best way to learn.
Right. All right. We're going to ask you here now. Is now who are your role models, film producers? Who are they?
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there now
Mhm.
that we aspire and we like what they do and what they bring. I would say somebody that I always love to see what he's doing is Ryan Coogler. You
Oh,
know, he has a fair amount of,
I was just going to say him.
he's inspiring. I wouldn't say role model, but
Yeah.
inspiring because the content that he's doing is breaking ground. He takes chances. Like Nine was a film we took a chance.
Hmm.
And so I like people who break ground. I like people who don't want to do the same narrative.
Right.
I like game changers. So he's somebody I love looking to see anything that he does. He's a visionary, right? And then there's other producers who've broken ground in different ways, like a Deborah Martin Chase,
Hmm.
who didn't have all the same opportunities that I have today, who had to break ground for somebody like me to walk through those doors.
Hmm.
And so I'm also conscious of that too, that there's a lot of producers who had to pave the way for a producer like me to be able to do this today. Even though Oprah Winfrey is inspiring, because whether people like her or not, she's had to pave the way
Right.
for somebody like me. And I love Will Packer. I think Will Packer always does great entertaining projects, and he's very smart and savvy of how he's approached the
Right.
business.
You know, I was just thinking as you were speaking. I was thinking about that new movie what's his name? Kugler came out with, right?
Yeah,
With,
Sinners,
oh
Sinners.
yeah,
I
I
think
just
just
thought that
came
was
out this
so
weekend.
different. I just saw the trailer. I thought it was so different, right? I
So
mean,
different.
when people do movies and they find a way to do it different, do something different in all of these movies that are out here, I'm very impressed with that, and I'm going to see that one. I'm definitely going to. That's awesome. So,
Yes, looks amazing.
what are um, what are some of your well, you did a few many films, right? So, what are your proudest moments? Right? What do you what do you what makes you very proud with the movies? Like, what are your proudest moments in doing film?
So I think my proudest moment is with a film called A Question of Faith. It's the biggest film in my career.
Mm, okay.
And it's a faith-based film. I was the first African American woman to put out a faith-based film nationwide in theaters. We broke so much ground with that film, from showing it to members of Capitol Hill, which usually faith-based films don't do. We were on Good Morning America. Usually Good Morning America doesn't have faith-based films. There's so many places we went with A Question of Faith. I'm still so proud of that film to this day. It changed lives. It had people who didn't believe in God all of a sudden believe in God.
Right.
It had people who had racial feelings or animosity towards other racial groups
Right.
who no longer did. So this film was transformational,
Right.
and it also transformed my career. So that film I'm very proud of because we actually transformed lives. When you do some films that they're just entertainment value, and then there's other films that you've touched millions of people who are like, who write to you, I have changed my life
Right.
because of this film. And so if you haven't heard of A Question of Faith, guys, go check it out. Question of Faith, you can see it on Amazon or PureFlix's streaming channel. We are coming to Tubi soon, so thank God, or you can Google the film to see all the places to watch it. A Question of Faith. It stars Kim Fields, Richard T. Jones, all-star cast, T.C. Stallings, C. Thomas Howell, Greg Allen Williams, Donna Bisco. We have amazing singing in the movie. We have a great soundtrack, and it's called A Question of Faith. That's one of my greatest films to this date.
How large is your team? How large is it?
It's just myself and maybe two other people. So it's a very small team.
Really?
Yes.
And you, wow, with all the filming and all that stuff, or
The
you
filming, we hire a crew.
hire a crew? Yeah, okay, that's what I was. Okay, wow, but it's awesome though. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. Anything coming up in New York? You're gonna be doing anything in New York or any filming?
I don't have
Um,
anything on schedule for New York.
okay, all right. I'm gonna send it. Say, let's go out there and check out.
It's the only thing I have scheduled is to go home to see my family in New Jersey.
I hear you. I hear you. And what was I gonna ask you here? Now, what's next? What's next on the horizon?
Yeah, so now we're preparing new films, new thrillers, a horror. I can't name the films, but that's the next preparation to do this year. I have this online school. It's called Backstage Pass to the Movie Industry, where I teach people how to break into the film industry, whether you're an actor, writer, producer, director, or I help guide you.
Right.
And so we do films as a school. And
Right.
so all of our films are on Tubi, but we're about to get ready to do our next film, which is a horror and a thriller this summer. And so the purpose of me having this online school is for me to actually be on set to guide and oversee and manage filmmakers actually learning the business. A lot of times it's hard for people to find a mentor who's an active working producer. I'm an active working producer. And so this is my way of giving back and at the same time get to create some great content.
That's
Also,
awesome.
we hope to shoot season 4 of the Comedy Underground series this year as well.
That's awesome. So that's awesome that you're giving back. Because that's that's
Yeah,
why.
what you have up in the background, that's my school.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
back to the movie industry.
yeah. And I also I know,
That's
yeah, you have to school. I wanted to talk about. I know you're an author as well. So you wrote this the winning demo reel, right?
yes, so
So
demo reel is something that's necessary and required for actors to get
yeah,
jobs.
yeah. I was reading it. I was like, wow, this is very impressive. So you have like a whole package, you know, for up and coming film actors,
Hmm.
anyone who wants to get into the film industry. So
Absolutely. It's online, it's done through Zoom, doesn't matter where you live. We have students from all over the world. We meet once a week, whether it's guest speakers. I teach master class. I just taught a class 2 weeks ago on how to monetize your music in the film industry.
mhm,
We have all different classes. I'm teaching a marketing and branding class at the end of this month. And we
mhm,
have amazing guest speakers, actual people who work in the film industry for a living, basically giving you advice, mentorship of how to navigate it.
right. Wow, that's awesome. This is my last question.
Okay.
As,
Okay.
is there anything like any type of areas in film that you would like to explore that you haven't? Like anything? Because I know you did Nine, you did the dog, and then you got another one coming up. So it's like yeah, how that process is like because this is for a filmmaker, right? Because I'm looking at it like you said, some filmmakers can have pretty much the same type of films, right? They stay within that box, right? Then some go outside the boxes. 1 minute it could be something about aliens. They'll make it. They'll just do a great job, right? Or they can do a love story, and they can just go back and forth. But what what would you like to venture into one day? That
Yeah,
you,
so I would love to get to do a musical one day and I also want to do a pure action. Even though we have tons of action in Nine, it's not a pure action.
okay.
So those are two genres that I'm ready to attack a full throttle. The reason why I did Nine is to test my skill sets in sci-fi and action. And now
Mhm.
I want to blow up stuff. And then for a musical, I would love to do a musical. I just love musicals and growing up outside of New York and going to Broadway for years,
Mhm.
I would love to tap into that industry.
I saw the Lion King on Broadway right years
Hmm.
ago, and I just saw it again. So I was like, wow, it's like sometimes you forget about this stuff, but when you see it a second time, I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow, this is like a masterpiece. So I don't know to do all of this. I understand what you mean. It is good to venture into that. I'm glad Denzel, he's back over there. So that was a nice little cap to his career. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And the young, what's her name? The one that's producing it, her and her husband.
Candy Burris. She
Yeah,
starred in
that's
my TV show a la carte.
okay. Yeah, I'm glad that connection. That was awesome. That was one of the most beautiful connections right there, right? And that's the number one. It was the number one box office opening or
Highest
something.
grossing play.
Yeah, that's what I said. This is what I like about creators. You come up with stuff and just try to do it. Just do your best and try to do it. Because like you said, you never know who you're gonna help. So a lot of people have dreams. And
Absolutely.
when they see it, that's why I like when they see positive things like this. I just like to just go out and just connect and try to do the best I can. To help people. So I kudos to you. So
Thank you. Thank you for having me, James.
no, no problem. I'm glad. I'm so
I
happy.
appreciate having this conversation with you.
Oh,
I
nice to meet you.
appreciate the platform and the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. So if people want to find you, and I have your information, but so just so you say it on here, what's the best way to contact you or find?
So everywhere that the internet resides, I'm
Mhm.
Miss Angela White. That's MS Angela White. So it's any platform, whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, X, threads. You can just put in MS Angela White. My website is Miss Angela White. My email is info@Miss Angela White. So that's why I teach branding, because I'm very big into branding. It should be
I
very
hear you.
easy for people to find you and
I,
see
I, I
you.
I love your content. Every time I see it, I said, okay, I'm going to learn something today. So I love it. So I'm definitely going to keep stay in touch if you don't mind. I'll stay in
Absolutely.
touch and
I appreciate all your support and everything. Thank you so much.
definitely anything you get,